Good morning everyone and welcome to the class. We are doing the chapter industries, and under this chapter we are doing iron and steel industry, and presently we are doing this about Tesco, and we were seeing why Sakchi was chosen to set up the first iron and steel industry in India. Okay, so we have done up to these, है ना? And today we will discuss something more about iron and steel industry, something more about Jamshedpur. Tata city, Tata Nagar is also known as Jamshedpur, as you have read about this in your history also, you know, when you were studying that chapter, smelters, weavers, smelters and factory owners. In that chapter also you have read about this Tesco, about Jamshedji Tata, है ना? So we have done and now we will see that this because of this Tesco, we find that in Jamshedpur several other industrial plants are also set up, because as we have already discussed that iron and steel industry is plays the role of the feeder industry. It feeds, it feeds another industry because it provides raw material. So that is the reason we find that so many other industrial plants were set up after Tesco, like some plants which produces chemical, then some factories which produce locomotive parts, then agricultural equipments, machinery, tin plate, cable, wire, all these were the produce of the industrial units which were set up in Jamshedpur after this establishment of Tesco. And by this, because of the setup of iron and steel industry, we find that it leads, or we can say it paves the way for rapid industrial development in the whole country. Because of setting up of first iron and steel industry in India, in Tesco, what happened that the path of industrial development of the whole country started, because all sectors of industry depends on the iron and steel industry for their basic infrastructure, है ना? For basic infrastructure there is need of iron and steel industry, and this iron and steel is produced by Tesco. So this paved the way, this opened the door for rapid industrialization in our country. And we find that iron and steel industry may be large integrated steel plants also, or it may be small mini steel plants also. There can be two types of iron and steel industry: large integrated steel plants or mini steel plants also. Steel mills, we can say, mini steel mills. Okay, and in this way we have done up to about this Jamshedpur and Tesco. And now we will see one of the most important steel cities of United States of America, and that is Pittsburgh. Okay, so now we will see about Pittsburgh. So it's an important steel city of America, and we find that this Pittsburgh has also some locational advantages. What do we mean by locational advantages? The advantages a place has because of its location, that is called locational advantages. So it has some locational advantages. What are these? We find that coal, which is one of the most important raw material for iron and steel industry, is available locally in Pittsburgh. And iron ore also comes from a very, we can say, Minnesota. The name of the place is Minnesota Iron Mines, जो कि सिर्फ 1500 किलोमीटर्स दूर है पिट्सबर्ग से, है ना. So what you find that coal is available locally. Okay, and the next thing is iron ore. Iron ore is available from coal mines, which is there at Minnesota. Which is 1500 kilometers away from पिट्सबर्ग, है ना. तो सिर्फ 1500 किलोमीटर्स दूर है मिनेसोटा, जहाँ की कोल माइंस को कोल अवेलेबल हो जाता है ना. और वन मोर थिंग वी फाइंड दैट बिटवीन these mines which are situated at Minnesota and Pittsburgh, we find there is one of the world's best routes for shipping ore cheaply, and that is the Great Lakes Waterways. The Great Lakes so it is 1500 kilometers away, Minnesota, and in between Pittsburgh and Minnesota there is this Great Lakes, and because of this Great Lakes the coal is transported to Pittsburgh by the waterways, and waterways or we can say water transport is the cheapest source of transport, especially when there is bulk transportation is done, है ना. जब बल्क में ट्रांसपोर्टेशन होता है, बल्क मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा अमाउंट में, ह्यूज अमाउंट में जब ट्रांसपोर्टेशन होता है, तो इन दैट कंडीशन द वाटर ट्रांसपोर्ट इज द चीपेस्ट ट्रांसपोर्ट. सो दैट advantage is also there. Because of presence of these great lakes, the transportation cost reduces, है ना. So this is also will come under locational advantage, because the place is located at such place that it is getting so much advantage. Okay, and we see that train routes is also there, and from Great Lakes to the Pittsburgh area, that distance is covered by this railway route, है ना. मिनेसोटा से ग्रेट लेक से आया, पिट्सबर्ग के बिल्कुल पास आ गया, बट एकदम पिट्सबर्ग जाने में फिर से उसको ट्रेन रूट लेना पड़ता है ना. सो ट्रेन्स जो है वो कैरी करते हैं इस आयरन ओर को फ्रॉम ग्रेट लेक्स टू द पिट्सबर्ग एरिया. ओके, एंड नॉट ओनली दिस, rivers are also available there, like Ohio River is there, then Monongahela River is there, Allegheny River is there. These three rivers are there, which is a very good source of water for the iron industry. So you have to remember the name of the rivers also. The first river is Ohio, then second is Monongahela. Okay, and then the next one is Allegheny. Okay, so these are the three rivers. So these are the locational advantage Pittsburgh has, and that is the reason traditionally we find that in America, the hub for iron and steel industry was Pittsburgh only. But nowadays, there is some change, some we can say shift in this location of iron and steel industry. Nowadays, we find that very few large steel mills are situated in Pittsburgh itself. Proper Pittsburgh में नहीं है, बल्कि in today's time we find that they are located in the valleys of Monongahela and Allegheny rivers. ठीक है, ये जो मोनोगेला और एल्गनी रिवर है, इनकी वैली में ज़्यादातर आयरन मिल्स, लार्ज आयरन मिल्स जो है, दे आर सिचुएटेड इन द वैली ऑफ रिवर मोनोगेला एंड एलेगनी, एंड दीज वैलीज ऑफ दीज रिवर्स आर अबव पिट्सबर्ग. ओके, एंड देन along the Ohio river the large steel mills are also situated. तो ये जो रिवर्स की वैली है, रिवर्स का किनारा है, वहां पर अब शिफ्ट हो चुका है. प्रॉपर पिट्सबर्ग में अब in recent years we find that they are not established, they are not set up at properly at Pittsburgh. Okay, so this is some these are some changes. And then we find that whatever steel is produced, that is transported to the market by both landways and waterways, है ना, लैंड रूट से भी और वाटर रूट से भी उसको मार्केट प्लेस में ट्रांसपोर्ट किया जाता है. एंड like just like Jamshedpur, as we have seen that after this setting up of TISCO, so many other industrial plants were set up in the similar way. This is the trend. ऐसा ही होता है, जहाँ पर भी आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री सेटअप होती है, वहाँ पर अदर इंडस्ट्रीज भी अपने आप सेटअप होते चले जाते हैं, बिकॉज इट इज द फीडर इंडस्ट्री, है ना. सो हियर ऑल्सो इन पिट्सबर्ग ऑल्सो वी फाइंड दैट so many factories are there other than steel mills, है ना, because they use steel as their raw material to make different type of products like railroad equipments, heavy machinery, rails. All these industrial units are producing these things. So we have done about iron and steel industry. Okay, and now we will see the second important industry, as I told you earlier also. Industries जो ट्रेडिशनल इंडस्ट्रीज है, ट्रेडिशनली द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट इंडस्ट्री इज आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्री, एंड द नेक्स्ट इज कॉटन टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री. दीज आर द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट ट्रेडिशनली. इन टूडेज टाइम देर इज चेंज in the industries. Now we have a sunshine industry, as I told you earlier also. We will discuss about it later on. First of all, after iron and steel industry, we will discuss about the cotton textile industry. Cotton textile industry. Okay, so what we find that this weaving of cloth from yarn is yarn thread, है ना. It's a very very ancient art. In ancient time also, when because cloth is our one of the basic needs, है ना. You know, our basic needs, we have 5 basic needs: cloth, food, shelter, and other than these 3, 2 more have been added nowadays, that is medical facilities and educational facilities. So clothes is one of our basic needs. We cannot live without clothes. So that is the reason it is one of the most ancient art, how to weave clothes from the yarn, है ना. So actually in ancient time there used to be only natural fibers, है ना, natural yarn होते थे, natural fibers होते थे, and people used to weave clothes from these natural yarns, like natural में बहुत सारे हैं, like wool है which we get from sheep, silk है जो कि हमें silk worm से मिलता है, then cotton which we get from this crop of cotton, है ना. So these all are jute. Jute is also a crop. The yarn is produced naturally. So in ancient time, people used natural yarn to weave the clothes. But after this advancement of technology, artificial fibers also came into existence. And nowadays these man-made fibers like nylon, polyester, acrylic, nylon, rayon, all these are used by us. So there are two types of fibers. Natural and man-made, है ना. So cotton textile, it's the raw material is cotton, and it is one of the oldest industries in the world. And as I told you earlier also, we have discussed about it earlier also, that industrial revolution took place it started in Britain only in the 18th century. And what do we mean by industrial revolution? Revolution का मतलब होता है in any context, if we use the word revolution, it means sudden change. If there is sudden change because of some act, if there is sudden change, if sudden change is occurring, then it is called revolution. So in industrial terms, in industrial context, what do we mean by industrial revolution? When by the use of advanced technology and machines, when size of production increased manifold, that is known as industrial revolution. बहुत ज़्यादा large scale पे production होने लगा, quantity, है ना, quantity of goods which were produced by this industrial activity, it increased manifold, बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया, because of inventions, because of machines, because of technology. So that is why it is known as industrial revolution. It started in Britain only, in England only, in 18th century, है ना. So before this industrial revolution, people used to made clothes using hand spinning techniques were used by the people, and looms were also there, hand looms. So everything was hand operated, है ना. So this was the way the clothes were produced. But in 18th century, with this industrial revolution, we find that the power loom replaced hand loom, है ना. And because of this power loom, the cotton textile industry developed. First it developed in Britain, and then in other parts of the world also, है ना. And at present we find there are so many countries, like our own country, it is an important producer of cotton textile. Other than India, China, Japan, America, these all are also very important producers of cotton textile. And as you know, you have read about this in history also, है ना. When you read that chapter, weavers, iron smelters and factory owners, you have read about the popularity of Indian clothes in Europe, in European market, among European people, how the Indian clothes were popular. You have read about chains, है ना, जो फ्लोरल प्रिंट्स इंडिया में बनते थे, they were very much in demand in Britain, in other European countries also. Then there was this muslin of Dhaka, then Calicut के जो calicos थे, they were so much famous, so much popular there, so much in trend, है ना. Then this gold wrought cotton of Burhanpur. So all these were known worldwide. Why? Because of their quality, because of their design. Quantity was not there, quality was there, design was there, that was completely unique, and it was in high demand in European countries, है ना. But we find that all these cotton clothes were hand spun, है ना, hand से spinning करके उनको प्रोड्यूस किया जाता था. तो दैट वॉज अ वेरी टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसेस, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस इट वॉज वेरी एक्सपेंसिव ऑल्सो, है ना. एंड दिस टाइम कंज्यूमिंग and expensive, because of this what happened that traditional cotton textile could not face the competition from the new textile mills of the West, which were using machines in order to produce the cotton clothes. And because machines were used for the production of cotton clothes, the amount, the quantity was very high, ज़्यादा प्रोडक्शन हो रहा था, है ना. एंड प्राइस वॉज ऑल्सो लो, बिकॉज टाइम नहीं लग रहा है, बहुत तेजी से प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है. तो ऑब्वियसली जब ज़्यादा प्रोडक्शन होगा तो प्राइस कम हो जाएगी. जब हैंड स्पन है तो प्राइस बढ़ जाएगी, बिकॉज टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसेस से बहुत कम आउटपुट हो रहा है ना. तो उसका प्राइस बढ़ जाएगा. जहाँ पर बहुत तेजी से प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है, लार्ज स्केल पे प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है, वहाँ पे प्राइस कम हो जाएगा. तो व्हाट पीपल वांट, चीपर क्लोथ्स. हर कोई महंगे क्लोथ्स, अगर हमारे सामने एक चीप क्लोथ्स और एक एक्सपेंसिव क्लोथ होगा तो जो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपल होंगे वो चीप क्लोथ के ही तरफ जाएंगे, अगर क्वालिटी में बहुत ज़्यादा का डिफरेंस ना हो. अगर ऐसी क्वालिटी हमें मिल रही है जो हमारे लिए सूटेबल है तो ऑब्वियसली हम चीपर कॉस्ट वाले ही प्रोड्यूस को लेंगे. तो दैट इज द रीज़न दिस ट्रेडिशनल cotton textile industry could not survive the competition which it started to face from this new textile mills of the West, because they were producing cheap cotton clothes. Not only cheap, the quality was also good. Quality अब hand spun के जैसी तो नहीं थी, but still it was good. Hand spun जो होता है उसमें uniqueness होती है ना. दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट क्वालिटी ऑफ हैंड वोवन क्लोथ्स, हैंड स्पन क्लोथ्स, की वो यूनिक होगा. बट मशीन से जो चीज़ें मिल रही थी वो चीप भी थी और उसकी क्वालिटी भी अच्छी थी. तो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस द ट्रेडिशनल कॉटन टेक्सटाइल कुड नॉट सर्वाइव. एंड एज वी हैव रेड अबाउट दिस इन हिस्ट्री ऑल्सो कि किस तरह से इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में डिमांड्स डिक्लाइन हो जाते हैं. एंड नॉट ओनली इन द इंटरनेशनल मार्केट बट इन डोमेस्टिक मार्केट ऑल्सो देयर वॉज डिक्लाइन इन द demand of this cotton textile. So we will continue with this, in the next class.